Hello friends, this is the last video of GST subject and second part of unit number 5, that is refund. In this video we are going to see the documents required for claim of refund and then time period to claim the refund, and is there any interest for delay in payment of refund by the government, and there are some quick questions. Let us start with the documents required. As per this rule 89 sub rule 2, right, the application has to be made under this rule 89 sub rule 1 of CGST rules 2017, and that should be accompanied by any of the following documentary evidences in annexure 1 in form GST RFD 01. Okay, GST forms are also we are going to see today, right? So these are the lists. The reference number of the order and a copy of order has to be filed while filing this refund form, okay, which is passed by the proper officer or the appellate authority or appellate tribunal or court. Whoever passed this order, reference number has to be given. And then in case of refund on account of export of goods, okay, on account of export of goods, these many things; on account of export of services, these many things. And what are those? A statement containing the number and date of shipping bills or bills of export has to be given, and relevant export invoices has to be attached, because we know that export supply, be that export of goods or export of services, both are zero rated supply and are eligible to claim the refund, right? And in case of export of services, statement, again the same thing, statement containing the number and date of invoices and relevant bank realization certificates will have to give. If it is also not available, then foreign inward remittance certificates has to be filed. Foreign inward remittance means you are making, see, suppose you are here and this is the foreign country, whatever payment you make, there will be an inward register, and that inward register includes this remittance certificates that has to be filed. If this is not available, bank realization certificates, okay. In case the supply of services, in case of supply of goods that is made to SEZ unit or SEZ developer, we know this is also a zero rated supply. Evidences will have to give, and what kind of evidences? Either invoices or declaration will have to just file while filling this form, right? In case where the refund is on account of deemed exports, now we have already seen what is this deemed exports. The statement which has to be filed that includes the invoices, right, or deemed invoices, whatever is available. And in case where the claim pertains to refund of any unutilized ITC, if there is such input tax credit which is unutilized, or inverted tax structure which we have seen, where the credit has been accumulated or on account of rate of taxes on inputs being higher than the rate of output supplies, then we have to file all such invoices. I repeat this point, this is very interesting. Input supplies, I repeat, input supplies having higher rate of tax, output supplies having lower rate of tax. In such cases, we have to attach all such invoices saying that yes, ITC is being accumulated and we want a refund, right? Next point. In a case where the refund arises on account of finalization of provisional assessment, in case of provisional assessment order has to be filed, or copy of such order has to be filed. A statement showing the details of transactions considered as intra-state supply but which is subsequently held to be interstate supply. In such cases, that statement has to be filed. and in this case where you are making excess payment of tax, the statement has to be given. And if you are claiming the refund which is less than 2 lakh rupee, declaration has to be made by yourself. Self declaration is fine. In case of if the refund which you are claiming that is more than 2 lakh rupee, then GST RFD 01 which is issued by chartered accountant or cost accountant, you have to get it certified. Okay, you have to get it certified in annexure number 2 and then file it with GST RFD 01. So these many documents are required, right? These many documents are required to claim the refund. This is 5 marks question. Many times it can be asked, or even case study it can be asked. I expect you to pause this video, write down these many things. Okay, pause here also, write down this all, and then we will just skip this, right? Time to claim the refund. What is the time to claim refund? Let us understand there are two different tables. Okay, there is a reason for claiming refund and relevant date. What is that reason? Excess payment of GST, date of payment is the relevant date. And then export or deemed export of goods or services, then date of dispatch will be considered, or date of loading, or this is also not available, then passing the frontier will be considered. And then ITC accumulates, ITC that is accumulated as output is tax exempt or nil rated, because see, output tax is more, you have paid output taxes, and that is lesser than what is paid in input tax. In such cases, last date of financial year will be considered, last date of financial year to which the credit belongs, that should be considered. And finalization of provisional assessment, in this case the date on which tax is adjusted has to be considered, right? In the second table I have given here serial numbers. Goods exported via sea or air, in such cases what is the relevant date? The date on which the ship or aircraft in which such goods are loaded or leaves India, right? When that leaves India, that will be the relevant date for claiming the refund. Goods when it is exported via land, date on which such goods cross the frontier. Frontier means such lines, base lines, Indian base lines, and it is defined, right? We have seen in very first primitive videos. Goods exported via post, where such goods cross the frontier. Complete supply of services before the payment of receipt, we consider the date of payment of receipt. In convertible foreign exchange we have to consider, because for services what is the relevant date? It is the receipt of payment, where convertible foreign exchange is considered. Okay, advance delivery of services prior to the date of issuance of invoice. In such cases, date is when the invoice is issued. And refund of unutilized ITC, when IGST is not paid at the time of export. I'm sorry, you may not be able to see these things. Refund of unutilized ITC when IGST is not, here it is written, paid at the time of export. When IGST is not paid at the time of export, end of the financial year, that is the relevant date. Okay. Now, how do you claim the refund? The refund application has to be made in the form RFD01 within 2 years from the relevant date. Within 2 years, you have to make this form filled up, and this is completely online system. The form should also be certified by chartered accountant if it is more than 2 lakh rupees what you are claiming, and there shall be no refunds where the amount of refund is less than 1000 rupees. Because if you are claiming for 500 and 600 rupees, government says, this is not needed. Okay. Then principle of unjust enrichment. This is very, very interesting concept. Listen, a presumption is always drawn that the businessman will shift the incidence of tax to the final consumer, because this is indirect tax, right? Because it is indirect tax where the incidence of tax is borne by the consumer, right? And therefore, it is for this reason that every claim of refund barring the specified exceptions, needs to pass the test of unjust enrichment, because you cannot just enrich the refund amount uh, which you are just putting onto the government, because while purchasing the goods, on the inputs goods you have paid taxes, and that taxes have been collected already by you from the consumers, and because you are collecting from the consumers, and also you are also claiming for the refund, right? So that is unjust enrichment, and therefore every such claim, if sanctioned, is first transferred to the consumer welfare fund, because you have already collected taxes in the form of taxes from the consumers, and that should go to consumer welfare fund. This is according to section 57 of CGST Act. The GST law makes this test inapplicable in case of these many things. Okay. Now these are such cases where principle of unjust enrichment is not followed. Refund of accumulated ITC, this is first point. Because it is accumulated ITC, you are getting refund, and therefore unjust enrichment bar will be not considered. Refund on account of exports. In this case also, because you are making exports, and that is very good, that is a good thing, right? And then refund of payment of wrong tax, you have paid integrated tax instead of central tax plus state tax and vice versa, right? If you have paid wrong tax, then that is not your fault, that is actually your fault, but that is not the fault of consumer, and therefore it will not go to consumer welfare fund. If the applicant, the refund of tax on supply which is not provided, or which refund voucher is issued. See, if you have got the refund voucher, that amount will not go to consumer welfare fund. Also, if the applicant shows that he has not passed the incidence of tax to any other person, if incidence of tax, that is the burden of tax, has not been passed to any other person, then also the amount will not go to consumer welfare fund, it will just be with you. Okay. And then in case of all other cases, the test of unjust enrichment needs to be satisfied for the claim to be paid to the applicant. Okay, be that 2000 rupees, be that 2 lakh rupees, it has to go through this bar. For crossing the bar of unjust enrichment, if the refund claim is less than rupees 2 lakh, then a self declaration is fine, or if it is exceeding 2 lakh, then certificate from chartered accountant or cost accountant has to be given. This point is just given, and please remember that 2 lakh rupee, this point is very important in case of your case studies, right? And these are the GST refund forms. I need not read everything, you just pause the video and write it. This can be asked for 5 marks. What are the GST refund forms, right? You will have to only list these forms, right? GST RFD 01, 1A, 1B, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7B, okay, then 8, 9, 10, 11. These are the GST refund forms, RFD, right? And in case of delay in refund in its process, what happens is that as of now, refund process will be done within 7 days. And if it is crossing more than 2 weeks, that is, if it is crossing more than 14 days, then refund will be provided along with the interest. And the rate of interest is 6%. Please remember this. Refund will be given to the people, and that will be given within 7 days. The buffer time, extra 7 days has been given, that is 2 weeks. Total 2 weeks from the application, from the date of application. And if it is not processed within 2 weeks, then along with interest that is at the 6%, along with the interest, refund will be given to you. And why it is done so fast? Because it is fully electronic, right? With effect from this date, it is completely electronic. And this ends your unit number 5. There are some quick questions. These are helpful for your case studies. Question number 1. What in case if taxpayer miss invoice bill in a month? Can he add the details in subsequent month and get a refund? Pause this video, try to understand, comprehend the question and answer. And the answer is yes. You can add the details in subsequent months and get the refund if invoice bill for a month is not available. Right? Second question. Does the GSTR2 and GSTR3 need to be filed for claiming refunds? The answer is no, because if you file the GSTR1 and GSTR3B, then he need not file any other forms to claim the refunds. GSTR2 and 3 as of now is suspended. We have seen this already in unit number 4, GST return forms, right? And the last question, is the taxpayer eligible to claim the refunds on IGST paid on exports of goods if he has filed GSTR3B? Pause the video, try to understand, try to answer by yourself. Okay, I will just go ahead. Yes, the taxpayer is eligible to get the refunds to claim if he has provided the details of export of goods detail in the GSTR1. Why GSTR1? It is outward supply, and because you are doing export, it should be appeared in GSTR1, right? Because it is outward supply export, and table A has to be filled, and then GSTR3B with relevant tax details has to be given, right? So these are the quick questions. These may help you in writing case studies. Friends, this ends your unit number 5, and this also ends your syllabus. I expect that you have understood. I hope that you have understood. And if you have any questions, not only in this chapter, not only in this video, any question related to the GST, you can just comment below. Okay, and the book which I have written, that is GST book for RCU students, the link is given, that is ebook. It is just 100 rupees. The link is given in the description box. You can go to Amazon and order that and read it. It is written very beautifully. Any questions, doubts, clarifications, you can ask anytime, right? I'll try to answer. So that's all about the videos. Thank you. Stay safe, stay home. Thank you.